Hey everybody, I'm Ted Drozdowski, Editorial Director of Premier Guitar, and we are here covering NAMM 2025. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe so you can see all the NAMM coverage going on. And right now we're visiting Radial Engineering, and we're going to be talking about their Highline, a passive line isolator. And Austin Ledyard here is going to explain to us why this is not a DI box. Are you not, sir?
Exactly, and yeah, thanks for the intro, Ted. Yeah, so overall, we have two products that we have just announced here at NAMM. We have the Highline and Highline Stereo. They're passive line isolators, like you said. They aren't DI boxes. They are designed specifically for use with amp sim pedals. So you're looking at boxes, for example, like the IK Multimedia Tonex, UAFX, Dream 65, Ruby, also things like the Strymon Iridium. It's really designed for those kinds of boxes in mind. So typically when you're looking at a standard DI box, typically those are wanting to receive a high impedance instrument level input. When you're looking at the Highline and Highline Stereo, they're specifically designed for a low impedance line level connection. So let's just pull these boxes out here so we can take a bit of a closer look. Here we go. We'll start with our mono Highline here. So this will be going for $179.99 USD. Shipping now from dealers. So overall, this is our mono unit. Pretty deceptively simple on the outside, but we'll take a deeper dive into it as we go through it. So overall, we got our standard radial input and through jacks here. The cool thing also that's different from our regular DI boxes, these can accept either balanced or unbalanced inputs. So for example, any unbalanced outputs from your standard sort of amp sim pedals totally works. You can also use it with a Kemper and Axe effects and take full advantage of these boxes as well. So overall, you got your standard input and through, like I mentioned. We have a little sum switch here in the middle. So if you're using the stereo outputs of any sort of amp sim pedal, or even if you're running effects pedals, maybe post amp sim as well, you can basically turn this through output into a secondary input jack, feed your stereo input into these two jacks, and it gets resistively summed to mono through the little Neutrik XLR here on the back, as well as we have the fun little ground lift switch disconnecting pin 1 on the XLR in case you run into any sort of hum and buzz issues. Both the Highline and Highline Stereo are Jensen transformer equipped. So we're using a specific Jensen transformer here, namely the JT11 YMPC. We use it in a lot of our different products. Very different from our standard DI box transformers. Overall, you're getting unity gain 1-to-1 output here. So essentially the amount of signal you put into the Highline and Highline Stereo is what you get at the XLR or XLRs if you're using them in stereo. A cool advantage to using boxes like this, there's actually several good reasons. Since these units are unity gain, essentially you can feed to front of house a much hotter signal than you would with like a standard passive DI, for example. So right off the bat, you're getting better signal to noise ratio. When you are using transformer-based units like this, transformers have this magic ability to provide matching impedances, exact matching impedances on both pins 2 and 3 of the XLR. So that means you're going to get way better common mode rejection and overall just noise rejection when you're feeding front of house as well. So first of all, lower noise right off the bat just by adding these to the signal chain. Additionally, because these are transformer-based, transformers do inherently ignore any sort of DC voltage on a signal path. That includes phantom power. So you get instant 48-volt phantom power protection as well for not only just your amp sims, but for any other parts of your pedal board you have plugged in as well. So overall, there's a whole lot of advantages that come to using the Highline and Highline Stereo. They're really purpose-built for this type of application.
Can we take a look at the stereo model now too?
I'm so glad you asked, Ted. I'm so glad you asked. So here's the stereo unit. So overall, a little bit of a bigger boy we got going on here. When we designed the Highline and Highline Stereo, and it's way more apparent with the stereo unit, we did design these for use with pedal boards in mind. So overall, usually on our standard DI boxes, we usually kind of have our left and right inputs on the bottom here. But because obviously since pedal boards go from right to left typically, we actually put the inputs for this unit over here. Just on the right side. I need to quickly double check since I'm facing the opposite direction. So that means you can easily plug into the Highline stereo just using a set of like 90-degree quarter-inch jacks. Again, you can either go in either quarter-inch TS or quarter-inch TRS, depending on whether the outputs of your unit are balanced or not. You can still get full advantage. Otherwise, we got a set of through outputs here on the left, which is great for feeding any sort of flat response speaker that you might use for personal monitoring or any other application. One of the other cool advantages here, we have a couple of these awesome little utility switches that I'll dive into in a sec. But this is another thing that makes the Highline and Highline Stereo useful, is they are they're interface boxes as well as line isolators. So we have a series of sum switches here. We have a through sum and we have an XLR sum. Overall, it kind of does what they say on the tin. So you got the through sum here, which basically will sum the signal together at the through outputs and then split it to both outputs at the same time. So overall, this can be useful for, say, if you're wanting to use your pedal board just with a tube amp. If you have one lying around, but you want to keep your pedal board intact, you don't want to unplug anything, you just basically turn the amp sim pedal off. You can hit the through sum switch, and then you can use either the left or right output, whichever you choose, to just basically run directly to that tube amp. So it really makes sure that you don't have to do any sort of repatching, which is a big thing, especially when you're looking at these larger scale pedal boards that a lot of amps and bass guitar players are usually using. Alongside, we also have an XLR sum. So basically what that does at the XLR side, as you can kind of guess, it basically sums the signal to mono and then splits it to both the left and right outputs simultaneously. So again, maybe you're at a specific venue where the front of house mixers maybe run out of space on the board and they say, hey, can you maybe go, mono instead? Okay, sure. Again, you don't have to repatch anything. That's really the beauty of this box being a dedicated interface as well. So if they ask for a mono connection, you say, okay, cool. Boom, done. Just like that, take the one XLR, left or right output, doesn't matter. Feed your signal to front of house. It's all proper resistive summing internally. So you will actually get, the sound of your unit, which is really kind of what we're going for here. Guitarists really spend so much time crafting and really honing their tone in a live scenario. And that's something that we really wanted to recognize and emphasize on with the importance of these boxes, that when it comes to using the Highline stereo, what you put into these units is exactly what you're getting at the output. These are honestly and truly staying true to your music, and that's what Radial is all about.
Excellent. Yeah, that kind of transparency is a beautiful thing, because we do spend our entire lives building tone.
Exactly. That's what we're all here for, right? That's what NAMM's all about: building tone, building friendships, having fun.
Thank you so much, Austin. We really appreciate the rundown. And thank you for tuning in. Keep watching our NAMM coverage 2025. And remember, subscribe to that YouTube channel and stay cool.